It's June of 2025. What's going on in the Minnesota real estate market? Let's talk about it. Hey, I'm Ryan Tummel with Milestone Realty, and I help people buy, sell, invest, and relocate across the Twin Cities metro area. If you have any specific questions, maybe about a neighborhood, what's going on in the market, or the video I'm about to talk about, if you want to get a search set up to start looking for homes across Minnesota, you can text, call, or email me. My info is in the description below. Otherwise, you could head to my website, mymilestonerealty.com, fill out the form depending on which milestone you are trying to reach, and we will get the process started. So what is happening in the Minnesota real estate market? Well, let me give you some statistics. First is we have seen the amount of homes on the market increase by 11%, and that's taking stats from May of 2024 and comparing them to May of 2025. To give you an idea of numbers, there was 8,135 homes for sale in 2024 in May, and in May of 2025, there are 9,137,000 homes available. So we're seeing more homes hitting the market. We are also seeing closed sales on those homes really plateau, and it honestly went down just slightly. So there were 45,878 homes that closed in May of 2024. And in May of 2025, there were 45,301. So it's about a 1% drop in closed sales. So more homes hitting the market, less homes closing and actually selling in that month. The days on market, and what that means is the amount of time you are on the market before accepting an offer. So it doesn't mean before the house is closed. So the days on market before accepting an offer were 18 days in May of 2024, and in May of 2025, it is jumped up to 22. So to close, you would add another 30 to 60 days generally when you are negotiating or accepting an offer. So that means the entire process of listing your home to actually closing your house is between 60 and 90 days right now. Finally, house prices, you would expect after all of this that we would start to see house prices declining. However, that is not the case. House prices are still increasing. They were at $374,000 in May of 2024. And now in May of 2025, they are $385,000. So, and if we jump back to 2023, it was around $365,000. So it's been going up about $10,000 every year, which based on the previous stats I shared, is a little surprising. You would expect house prices to maybe start to come down, but we have not seen that as of now. So let's talk about what these stats mean for buyers and sellers. So here is the deal for buyers. What these numbers mean for you is the good news is you can start adding in contingencies. This has been true for the last probably year or so, but even more so now. And to the point, I'm going to talk about this more on the selling side, but I'm working on a couple deals that are put offers in contingent on selling their homes, and they're being accepted. In fact, one of the deals I'm working on, multiple of the deals. So like we got an offer accepted based on the contingency to sell our home. We accepted an offer for them to sell their home, and they accepted an offer for them to sell their home. So there's a whole chain of contingencies there that, if one of them falls, it could all fall apart potentially. Which gets a little nerve-wracking. But that is the market we are in. Sellers are willing to accept that because those are the offers that they are getting. So buyers, the good news is you have a little more negotiating power. You can put contingencies in your offer, and they may be accepted. The other good news about this is you don't have to make a decision on a home within 25 minutes of seeing it. You can go back, see the home a second time, maybe even a third time. It gives you a chance to visualize, hey, is this where I want to build my life and where I want to choose to live my life for the next however many years? it was crazy when people had to make that decision really within 20 to 30 minutes. And so I think it's a much better experience now as a buyer that you get the time and flexibility to take the time that you need to make the decisions that will be best for your future. The last thing is, while we are not seeing house prices come down, the good news is you generally probably aren't going to have to offer above list price. In certain cases, maybe that would be true. If a house is listed very aggressively and there's multiple offers and you really love it, there might be a chance that you would have to there. But generally, you're going to be probably at list price and even maybe a little below list price to be able to offer on, which is great. Now, don't have the expectation that you're going to be able to offer 50 to 100 grand less. That is not the market we are in currently. So that's a little bit about what you can expect if you are thinking about buying or wanting to enter the market as a buyer. On the sell side, we, like I talked about, you probably are going to have to be willing to accept some terms that you wouldn't have had to accept a year and a half ago. And so knowing that the offers that you receive aren't going to just be clear-cut close most likely. So there's going to be some contingencies. It's going to take some steps to get it over the finish line. So that's an important thing to be aware of. The next thing is you are going to have to wait 60 to 90 days. Like I said, it's going to take a little bit of time to sell your house. So, planning that out, depending on where you need to be on your next house, starting that process sooner than later is going to be beneficial and make it less stressful. And especially if you have the ability to offer on your next house without having to have that contingency or having to close on your house at least, it can make that move a little easier and that process a little easier. But the great news is if you can't, you now can enter the market and still have a chance to compete with the other offers that are coming in, which is awesome. The last thing I'll say to sellers is the condition of your home matters now. Like I said, there's more houses on the market. We're seeing 11% year over year of increase on homes hitting the market. What that means for you is there is more competition. So the buyers have more options. And so what you are doing to present your home and make it marketable actually matters now. And buyers don't want to have to do work. For the most part, unless they're someone that's looking for a fixer-upper. But I would say that is more of a rare occurrence. And so people want, the fresh paint, the fresh carpet. They want to be able to just move in and not have to do projects. So you taking that on as the seller is more important, especially to get top dollar, but also to compete against the homes and help your home sell faster. So if you are thinking about selling and you want to know, how do I spend my money? What should I prioritize and fix up to make my house be able to present itself the best? Reach out to me and I will help navigate that and help give you information on how to best spend your money and what you should be doing to make your home the best and most presentable that it can be. So that's a little bit about what's going on in the market, some info for buyers and sellers. So that's where we're at in June of 2025 in the real estate market. It is a weird time. In my 5 years of doing this, it's the weirdest market I've been in. Houses that you'd expect to sell super fast don't, and houses that you don't are. I've been hearing stories of people getting multiple offers, but they're all under asking price. So it's just an interesting time in the real estate market, and it's going to be even more interesting to see where we go from here. If interest rates tend to stay high, I'm curious to see if we are now at the point where buyers are kind of tapped out and they aren't able to afford the high interest rates, the high house prices to make it work in their everyday lives. And so if finally house prices have to come down to accommodate that could be the case. Now there's a lot of movement and pushing to get interest rates down. If that happens, everything could shift and more buyers into the market and we enter more into a seller's market like we had a couple years ago. So if you want to know exactly what's going on each month, be sure to subscribe. I also send out a newsletter where I send out information like this. So if you want to get added to that, you can reach out to me as well. I hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching. always remember, I'm Ryan Temmel, and I'm here to help you reach your next real estate milestone.